Alrighty, so this might be on YouTube as well. So hello YouTube. This is a very old game of mine that I played back in my youth when I didn't understand chess, and I pretended that I had about 45 pieces, and I just went like this anytime I could. And so I came across in the 5th round this guy, Hungarian Under-18 Junior Championship. And usually I did play d5 and knight f6. These were my two main lines against the Alapin. But this time around I wanted to do something different. And so I opted for a setup that King's Indian players and Pirts players usually employ. I played both d5 and knight f6 depending. And I went to this line, which obviously is unsound in terms of fighting for equality, because it certainly doesn't accomplish it. But the goal was, which I very rarely did, by the way, in my entire chess life and chess career, is to play a position that I felt happy to play despite of its objective value. And sometimes you do that, but you have to be careful. Anyway, so knight e2, bishop g7, f3. He was very impressed afterwards, the coach. I played e5 and d5 came in. I went castles. He went bishop e3. And here, I had a vague memory of the very famous Kotov-Gligorich game in the Zamish, where Gligorich plays knight h5, provokes g4, and then sacrifices a pawn on f4. What I did remember, but I casually just went like, don't worry about that one, was the fact that in the Kotov-Gligorich game, when knight h5, g4, knight f4 happened, this knight wasn't here at all. It was still back at home. And so Kotov, to win a pawn, had to give up the bishop for the knight. So I'm like, yeah, that's no problems. I can do it like this too. Which is total bollocks. But back in the day, I didn't need to be asked twice to chuck in a pawn. Or 4 of them, as you will see soon. So he took me. I went take. And I'm like, okay, well. Woohoo! No, not that. I went f5. That's the thematic move. The idea was to blast the position open against the king stuck in the middle. And again, I would like to stress that this is just nonsense. But I loved playing the game and I really enjoyed it. And up to date, I'm proud of it. Would I play like this again? Probably not. But I don't have any regrets. Objectively speaking, after takes g5, even if I give a check, the king can just go to f2, and not an awful lot is there for me to show for the pawn. But I was happy. I was happy, and sometimes you need to let go and just try to play the game of your life and see what happens. So I played f5. He goes back, and I'm like, hold on a tick. I'm gonna take you here, and after takes back, you can no longer castle. Now, I don't know what kind of demon possessed me to do the next move, but actually it turns out to be the engine's second choice. Never in my life did I check this game with the engine, by the way. So the idea was that, again, I didn't want to give him time to do stuff like knight e2, queen e2, and castles. The best move by the engine, by the way, is knight d7. Which, frankly, as I'm looking at the board, I've got absolutely zero reasons to explain myself why I didn't do that. But because of, I thought that I was the next Morphy and Andersen and Kasparov and Tal, I just went like, haha, bring it on, baby. I know how to sack a pawn in Benoni structures. And I went, woo, baby. b5, come at me. I don't know who that was, but thank you. I think Oh, Pedro with the follow. Thank you. So yeah, I went b5, baby. And the idea was to play c4 and then come in with the queen here. Allow the knight to come in here and here. So bringing in the sexy, basically. And he took because I offered, he took it. So I went like, okay, I'm liking this. I played queen b6. He plays queen e2. And I was like, this is getting problematic. Because if my opponent gets to play knight a3 and castles, again, I might find it difficult to prove that my sacrifice was correct. And so at this point, I completely lost the plot. But in some ways, I'm still like, look at the smile. Like, I'm so happy that I played this game, though. Exactly, Bear Bully. So I played c4. Disconnecting the queen and the bishop. Sacrificing the third pawn. And the idea is that it actually cannot be captured with either. Because if queen takes, then I have got this avenue going in that way. And also it gives up the g4 pawn. Whereas if the bishop takes, which was the game, then needless to say that after 3 pawns, the only adequate response to whatever is to follow is to sacrifice a bishop. And so I played bishop take. I would have played bishop takes g4. And the idea was that after takes, queen takes b2, we pick off the rookie and there is no castling. So I thought, alright, this is looking pretty handy. So I casually chucked in c4 for history. Oh, no, I didn't. No, sorry, Sozzies. Scrap that. I should have, but I didn't. I played a6, bishop d3, and then I chucked in the pawn. Soz, my bad. Same thing. Yes, this is the inner Alekhine shining. Precisely. Yes. Actually, this is a better way to do it, because the problem with the instant c4 is knight a3. I actually saw this now, I recall. So a6 was... Wow, man. This game is almost sound. It's a lot more sound than I thought it was. Holy cow. So he goes back. I play c4. Engine's favorite move. Take, take. And the rest is really carnage. So there is not really a lot to report on for the remainder. Because my opponent played queen d2. Which just allowed my pieces to flood the board. And absolutely wipe him out. Knight a3. Knight c5. Note how both castling has been cut out. Bishop f2. Now, surely you know what happened here. Without me having to prompt you. Now that the bishop slid back to f2. The compulsory rook takes f2, of course, arrived. There was no question about that one. Because obviously king takes f2 is met by knight e4. And queen takes f2 as per game is met by rook f8. Yeah, it was totally forced. Totally forced. And again, my pieces are just flooding in like absolute madness. For example, if they go queen c2, after knight takes e4, which is the 5th sec, can be accepted because mate in 1. According to the engine... this is mate in 6. I actually forgot how good this game was. Like, I thought it was garbage, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually quite impressed. So rook f2, queen f2, rook here, and he gave up his queen, thinking that there was nothing left there to play for. I took it back, h3, and yeah. Even here I didn't take that, I went for mate. C Savage, where do you want to play knight d3, bro? Because the bishop is covering. Yeah, so rook f2, king, queen f2, rook f8, and he took. And that was the end of actually a really glorious game, now it turns out. Queen g1, and that was mate in few. Mate in few, actually mate in 2 to be exact. Bishop back, check, and mate. Would have been the finish of this rather cool game, actually. I quite liked it. So let's take a quick stock of what we have sacked. So I chucked the pawn at him here. Then I chucked the pawn at him here, that's 2. Then I chucked the pawn at him here, is 3. Then a piece. And then an exchange. Yeah, this was violence. And I think this... Actually, let me check the score. So at this point... This was round 7. But why do I not have all the games? Oh, I do. So wait, 1, 2... Oh, actually, no. I started with a win, a draw, another... And then a loss. Actually, I started off win, draw, loss. Then a draw. And then I won, and won the tournament. So hang on. How many points is that? So 1, 1.5, 1.5, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Bringing on das Exi. Das Exi times. Wasn't too bad, right? So, yeah, that was me back in my youth when I still did not have a care about material considerations in chess. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.